February 13th, 1822, St. Louis, Missouri, the edge of the American world. To the east lies civilization, cities, laws, banks, and churches. To the west lies the void, the unmapped territories of the Louisiana Purchase, a land of endless wind, hostile tribes, and beaver pelts worth their weight in silver. In the offices of the Missouri Gazette, a man named General William Ashley places an advertisement. It is simple, but it will change history. To enterprising young men, the subscriber wishes to engage 100 men to ascend the River Missouri to its source, there to be employed for 1, 2, or 3 years. It is a siren song for the desperate, the broken, and the bold. Among the crowd that gathers to sign up is a man who doesn't fit the mold of the young adventurer. His name is Hugh Glass. He is nearly 40 years old, ancient in a profession where most men die before 30. He has gray in his beard. He moves with a quiet, deliberate economy. He is a man of secrets. Rumors follow him like smoke. Some say he lived with the Pawnee. Some say he was a pirate under Jean Lafitte in the Gulf of Mexico. Some say he walked across Texas alone. He signs the ledger. He doesn't talk about his past. He is looking for a future that pays. He stands next to a boy, barely 18, Jim Bridger. Bridger is wide-eyed, nervous, and eager to prove himself. He sees Glass not as a rival, but as a legend. Then there is John Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is a pragmatist, a mercenary. He isn't here for adventure, he is here for the money. He looks at Glass with suspicion. He sees an old man taking a share that should belong to a younger, stronger hand. "The river will eat him," Fitzgerald whispers to a companion. "Old bones don't float." They board the keel boats, two massive shallow draft vessels loaded with traps, gunpowder, whiskey, and trade goods. They push off from the docks of St. Louis. They are leaving the 19th century behind. They are entering the Pleistocene. The journey up the Missouri River is not a float, it is a war. The river in 1823 is not the tame channel of today. It is a wild, shifting beast. It is filled with sawyers, massive sunken trees that bob up and down in the current, ready to rip the bottom out of a boat. The current is relentless. The men do not sail. The wind is rarely right. They do not row. The current is too strong. They cordel. This means they act as human mules. 20 men walk on the muddy bank, pulling a heavy rope attached to the mast of the boat. They are bent double, straining against the weight of tons of cargo and the force of the water. They walk through mud that is waist deep. They walk through thickets of willow and thorny locusts. They walk over rattlesnake dens. Hugh Glass is on the line. Despite his age, he pulls with a grim, mechanical consistency. He doesn't complain. He doesn't stop. Fitzgerald watches him. He expects the old man to falter. But Glass has a stamina that the younger men lack. It is the stamina of a man who has nothing else to lose. The heat is oppressive. The air is thick with mosquitoes that bite until the men's eyes are swollen shut. "Why are you here, old man?" Fitzgerald asks, one night by the fire, nursing a blistered hand. "You should be sitting on a porch." Glass looks at the fire. "The porch is a cage, Fitzgerald. Out here, the only cage is the one you build yourself." It is a cryptic answer. It irritates Fitzgerald. He prefers clear ledgers and hard coin. Glass represents a variable he cannot calculate. As the weeks turn into months, a hierarchy forms. Major Andrew Henry is the field commander. He is a capable leader, but he is stressed. The expedition is behind schedule. The river is lower than expected. He relies on the free trappers. Most of the men are engagees, hired hands paid a salary. But Glass and a few others are free men. They are not paid a wage. They are partners. They supply their own guns and horses, and they sell their pelts to the company. They are the aristocracy of the wilderness. This creates friction. The engagees, doing the brute labor of the cordel, resent the free trappers who scout ahead for game. Glass takes young Jim Bridger under his wing. He teaches him the language of the river. "Look at the water," Glass points. "See the ripple that doesn't move? That's a snag, a tree just below the surface. If we hit it, we sink." Bridger nods, absorbing the information. He sees Glass as a father figure. Fitzgerald sees this mentorship as a weakness. "You're making the boy soft," Fitzgerald sneers. "He needs to learn to pull, not to look at the pretty water." "He needs to learn to see," Glass replies calmly. "Pulling makes you strong, seeing keeps you alive." The tension between Glass and Fitzgerald is not just personal, it is philosophical. Fitzgerald believes in brute force and leverage. Glass believes in awareness and adaptation. It is a conflict that will define the disaster to come. By May 1823, they reach the Dakotas. The landscape changes. The trees disappear. The Great Plains open up like an ocean of grass. The psychology of the men begins to shift. They are now hundreds of miles from the nearest lawman. There is no court here, no sheriff. The only law is the rifle. Glass thrives in this environment. He becomes more talkative, sharing stories of the Pawnee cosmology with the men. He speaks of the Great Spirit and the interconnectedness of all living things. "The bear is your brother," Glass says. "The wolf is your cousin. You kill them because you must eat, but you respect them." Fitzgerald laughs. "The bear is a rug, the wolf is a pest, and the beaver is a hat. Don't romanticize the meat, Glass. It makes it harder to skin." The men are divided. Some find Glass's mysticism comforting in this alien land. Others, like Fitzgerald, find it dangerous. They are tired. Their bodies are broken by the cordel. They are edgy. They are running low on fresh meat. They are running low on patience. Major Henry makes a decision. "We need horses," he announces. "We can't pull these boats forever. We need to trade with the locals." The locals are the Arikara, also known as the Rees. They live in fortified Earth Lodge villages on the banks of the Missouri. They are powerful, wealthy traders who control the river traffic, and they are currently unhappy with the white men who are bypassing their toll booths. Glass warns Henry. "The Rees are traders, Major, but they are also warriors. If we show weakness, they will take everything." "We have rifles," Henry says confidently, "and we have whiskey to trade." Glass checks the priming on his Pennsylvania long rifle. He has a bad feeling. He looks at Bridger. "Keep your powder dry, boy," Glass whispers. "The river is about to get a lot rougher." The trip is about to hit its first wall. May 30th, 1823. The keel boats round a bend. Ahead, the Arikara villages rise from the bluff. Smoke curls from hundreds of lodges. Thousands of people line the banks. Warriors on horseback. Women processing hides. Children playing in the water. It is a metropolis of the plains. Major Henry orders the boats to beach on a sandbar opposite the village. He wants a buffer zone. Glass and Fitzgerald are chosen to go ashore to negotiate for horses. They step off the skiff. The smell hits them. Wood smoke, curing leather, dog, and humanity. The Arikara chiefs greet them. They are polite, but their eyes are cold. They accept the whiskey. They agree to trade horses for ammunition. But Glass notices the details. He sees the women moving the children back from the river. He sees the warriors painting their horses. He sees the barricades being reinforced. "They're stalling," Glass tells Fitzgerald as they walk back to the boat. "You're paranoid, old man," Fitzgerald says, leading a string of newly purchased ponies. "We got the horses. We leave in the morning." Look at the barricades, Glass hisses. They aren't building those for decoration. We need to move the boats to the middle of the river, now. Fitzgerald ignores him. The men are tired. We sleep on the beach tonight. It is a fatal error. They camp on the sandbar, right under the guns of the village. The sun sets. The drums begin to beat in the village. Glass sits by the fire, cleaning his rifle. He doesn't sleep. He watches the darkness. The trip is over. The war is about to begin. Dawn, June 2nd, 1823. The sandbar opposite the Arikara villages is gray with morning mist. The 40 men of the beach party are waking up. The coffee is boiling. The horses are tethered in a line. Glass is already awake. He is watching the village across the water. He sees a flash, not lightning, pan priming. "To the boats!" Glass screams. "To the boats!" His voice is drowned out by the roar of 100 muskets firing at once. The sandbar erupts. The Arikara warriors have crept into the willows during the night. They are firing from point-blank range. Men fall where they stand. Horses scream and rear, trampling the wounded. Major Henry is on the keelboat, shouting orders to cast off, but the boat is grounded on the sandbar. The current is pushing it harder onto the beach. On the sand, it is chaos. Fitzgerald is behind a dead horse, firing with mechanical precision. He isn't panicking. He is calculating the odds. "We're cut off," he yells to Glass. "Swim for the boat." Glass is loading and firing his long rifle. He sees Jim Bridger frozen in the open, staring at a friend who has just taken a ball to the chest. Glass tackles the boy. He drags him behind a log. "Move, boy," Glass roars, slapping him. "If you stay here, you die." Bridger snaps out of it. He grabs his rifle. The air is thick with black powder smoke and arrows. The screams of the dying mix with the war cries from the willows. Glass sees the only way out. "The skiffs," he yells. "Get the wounded to the skiffs." They make a desperate dash for the small boats. They drag the bleeding men through the water. The river around them is churning with bullets. Glass pushes the last skiff off the sand. He vaults in. They row for the keelboat. As they climb aboard, the men on the deck cut the anchor cable. The massive boat swings out into the current, spinning slowly. They drift downstream, leaving the dead on the beach. 15 men are dead. 9 are wounded. The trip has just become a funeral. They drift for miles. The mood on the boat is shattered. The men are silent, cleaning their weapons, wrapping the wounded in bloody rags. Major Henry gathers the survivors. "We can't go back upriver," Henry says. "The Rees have the choke point. They'll sink us if we try to pass the villages again." Fitzgerald speaks up. "Then we go back to St. Louis. We cut our losses." "And lose the season?" Henry snaps. "We have investors. We have debt." Glass steps forward. He is reloading his rifle, his hand steady despite the adrenaline crash. "We go overland," Glass says. "We leave the river. We march west, across the plains to the Yellowstone. The Rees won't follow us into the open country. They are river people. It is a dangerous plan. It means abandoning the safety of the boat. It means walking hundreds of miles through unknown territory with limited supplies." Fitzgerald laughs, a harsh, barking sound. "Walk?" he says. "With these greenhorns? We'll starve, or the Sioux will find us." "The Sioux are enemies of the Rees," Glass counters. "They might trade. The river is death, Fitzgerald. The land is just hard." Henry looks at the men. They are terrified of the river now. "We walk," Henry decides. They cache the heavy goods. They take only what they can carry: rifles, powder, blankets, and a little dried meat. They step off the boat and into the tall grass. They are no longer rivermen. They are prey. August 1823. The Grand River Valley. The overland march is grueling. The heat is intense. The grass is high enough to hide a horse. Glass is the lead scout. He walks a mile ahead of the main party. His job is to find water, to find game, and to spot trouble before it spots them. He prefers the solitude. The main group is noisy, clumsy, and smells of fear. Out here, alone, he can breathe. He is hunting meat. The men are hungry. They have been living on roots and the occasional rabbit. Glass moves through a thicket of buffalo berries. He is looking for a deer. He is quiet. He moves with the wind in his face. He steps into a clearing near the riverbank. He sees two cubs, grizzly cubs. They are wrestling in the dust, fat and playful. Glass freezes. Every instinct in his body screams, "Where are the cubs? The mother is close." He starts to back away slowly. He doesn't turn his head. He hears a twig snap behind him. It isn't a snap, it is a huff. A deep, guttural exhalation of air that vibrates in his chest. He turns. She is there, a sow grizzly. 700 pounds of muscle, claw, and maternal rage. She is 20 feet away. She is standing on her hind legs. She towers over him. Glass raises his rifle. He has one shot. He fires. The ball hits her in the chest, but a grizzly doesn't die from pain. It dies when the heart stops, and that can take minutes. She drops to all fours and charges. It happens in a blur of fur and noise. The impact is like being hit by a falling tree. She slams into him, knocking the wind out of him instantly. His rifle flies into the brush. She bites into his shoulder. He hears the bone crunch. She shakes him like a rag doll. Glass screams. It is a primal sound, a mixture of agony and defiance. He reaches for his knife. She claws his back. The talons, 4 inches long, rip through his buckskins and deep into the muscle, exposing his ribs. He stabs her, once, twice, in the neck, in the flank. She roars, a deafening sound right in his ear. She bites his thigh, lifting him off the ground. She throws him down. She stands over him. She is bleeding from the gunshot wound, breathing heavily, blood foaming at her mouth. Glass is barely conscious. He is losing blood fast. He looks up at her. He sees the intelligence in her eyes. She isn't just killing him. She is neutralizing a threat to her cubs. She comes down one last time. She bites his throat. Glass jams his hand into her mouth to protect his jugular. She crushes his fingers. Then she collapses. The bullet has finally done its work. Her massive weight pins him to the ground. He lies there, trapped under the dead bear, listening to the cubs crying in the bushes. The world goes gray, then black. "Over here, I heard a shot." The voices are distant. Jim Bridger and Fitzgerald break through the brush. They stop dead. The scene is a slaughterhouse. The dead bear, the blood-soaked grass, and underneath the beast, a mess of leather and flesh. "Help me move her," Fitzgerald yells. They heave the bear off Glass. Bridger turns away and vomits. Glass is unrecognizable. His scalp is torn loose, hanging over his face. His throat is punctured. His leg is broken. His ribs are exposed on his back. He is breathing in shallow, wet rasps. Bubbles of blood form at his torn throat. Major Henry arrives with the rest of the party. He looks down at his best scout. "My God," Henry whispers. Fitzgerald kneels down. He checks Glass's pulse. "He's done," Fitzgerald says, wiping his bloody hands on his pants. His throat is open. He's bleeding out. "We have to sew him up," Bridger cries, tears streaming down his face. "We can't just leave him." "So what?" Fitzgerald sneers. "There's nothing left to stitch. He'll be dead in an hour." Henry looks at the setting sun. They are deep in hostile territory. The Arikara are behind them. The Sioux are around them. "We can't move him," Henry says. "Not like this. It would kill him." "He's already dead, Major," Fitzgerald says. He just doesn't know it yet. But Glass does know it. In the darkness of his pain, he hears them. He hears Fitzgerald, dead, done. A spark lights in the center of his mind. It is small, but it is hot. No. He tries to speak, but only a gurgle comes out. Major Henry makes a decision. "We camp here tonight," Henry says. "We'll bury him in the morning." They set up camp around the dying man. They eat the bear meat. Glass lies there, unable to move, unable to speak, listening to the men discuss his grave. The disaster has stripped him of everything: his rifle, his body, his dignity. But it has left him one thing: breath. August 24th, 1823. The sun rises over the Grand River. Hugh Glass is still alive. It defies medical logic. His throat is torn open. Every breath bubbles through the wound. His back is shredded down to the ribs. His leg is broken. He has lost pints of blood. Major Henry stands over him. He expects to find a corpse. Instead, he finds eyes that are open, staring at the sky with a terrifying, lucid intensity. "He's tough," Henry mutters. "Too tough for his own good." The expedition is in danger. Every hour they stay here is an hour the Arikara get closer. The main body of the trapping party needs to move to the Yellowstone River before winter sets in. They cannot carry a dying man on a litter. The terrain is too rough, and his screams of pain would alert every hostile tribe for miles. Henry makes a hard choice. "I can't stay," Henry tells the men. "The company has to move, but we can't leave a white man to die alone like a dog." He offers a bounty. $80, a fortune, more than 3 months' wages, to any 2 men who will stay behind, wait for Glass to die, and give him a Christian burial. The men look at their boots. No one wants to stay in Indian country with a corpse. Finally, John Fitzgerald steps forward. "I'll do it," he says, "for the money." He looks at the young Jim Bridger. "And the boy will stay too." To learn a lesson, Bridger nods, terrified but shamed into duty. "Done," Henry says. He leaves them rifles, ammunition, and Glass's personal kit. The main party moves out. Glass watches them go. He tries to scream, "Don't leave me with him," but only a wet rasp escapes his throat. He is now alone with a mercenary and a child. Days pass. Glass drifts in and out of consciousness. The pain is a living thing. It has a rhythm, a throb in his leg, a burn in his back, a sharp stab in his throat. He is delirious. He hallucinates. He sees his wife, a Pawnee woman long dead. She is singing to him. He sees the bear standing over him, but this time it speaks with Major Henry's voice. "Die, Glass. Just die." Fitzgerald sits by the fire, whittling a stick. He is impatient. "He's taking too long," Fitzgerald grumbles to Bridger. "The reefs are close. I saw smoke on the horizon yesterday." Bridger is diligent. He brings Glass water. He cleans the maggots out of the wounds, a gruesome but necessary task, as the larvae eat the dead flesh and prevent gangrene. "I'm sorry, Mr. Glass," Bridger whispers as he washes the blood from Glass's face. "I'm so sorry." Glass hears him. He wants to tell the boy it's okay, that survival is ugly, but Fitzgerald is different. Fitzgerald stands over Glass, staring down with cold, dead eyes. "You're selfish, old man," Fitzgerald says. "Keeping us here, putting the boy at risk. Just let go." Glass stares back. He focuses all his will on one thing: breathing. In, out, in, out. It becomes a contest of wills. Fitzgerald wants the money. Glass wants the next breath. Day 5. The wind changes. Fitzgerald stands up suddenly. He sniffs the air. "Smoke," he says. "Close." He climbs a small rise. He looks downriver. "Reese," Fitzgerald hisses, sliding back down. "A war party, maybe 20 of them. Less than a mile out." Panic sets in. "We have to go," Fitzgerald yells, grabbing his pack. Bridger looks at Glass. "But he's not dead." "He's dead enough," Fitzgerald snaps. "If we stay, they'll kill us all." "Do you want to die for a corpse?" Bridger is paralyzed. He looks at his mentor, broken and bleeding in the dirt. He looks at the horizon where the enemy is coming. Fear wins. I can't," Bridger stammers. "Grab his rifle," Fitzgerald orders. Bridger freezes. "What?" "We can't leave a good rifle for the Indians," Fitzgerald says. "Or the knife, or the kit. It is the ultimate betrayal. To leave a man is one thing. To leave him without a weapon, without fire, without hope, that is murder." Fitzgerald rips the rifle from under Glass's arm. He takes the knife from his belt. He takes the possibles bag with the flint and steel. Glass's eyes go wide. He tries to grab Fitzgerald's ankle. His grip is weak, like a child's. Fitzgerald kicks his hand away. "Sorry, old man," Fitzgerald says. "It's just business." He grabs Bridger by the collar. "Move." They run. They disappear into the willows, leaving Glass alone in the hollow. Glass watches them go. He tries to shout, "Fitzgerald!" Nothing happens. He hears the wind in the grass. He hears the river. And then he hears the silence. The absolute terrifying silence of being the only human left on Earth. Glass lies there for a long time. He waits for the Arikara to come and finish him. He waits for the arrow or the club. But they don't come. The war party passes to the south, missing the hollow by a few hundred yards. Glass is alone. He realizes what has happened. He has been robbed. He has been abandoned. He has been left for dead by his own kind. A cold rage begins to build in his chest. It starts in his gut and spreads to his limbs. It is hotter than the fever. It is stronger than the pain. Fitzgerald. The name becomes a mantra, a heartbeat. Fitzgerald. 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 He tries to move his leg. Agony shoots through his body, blacking out his vision for a moment. He tries to move his arm. It works. He reaches out. He feels something cool and round. A berry. A buffalo berry. He puts it in his mouth. It is sour. It is tiny. But it is food. He realizes he is lying on a grave. They had started to dig it before they ran. A shallow depression in the dirt. He rolls over. It takes him an hour to turn his body 6 inches. He drags himself to the edge of the hollow. He looks west. 200 miles to Fort Kiowa, through hostile territory, with a broken leg, with no gun, with no knife. He looks at his hands. They are shredded. He looks at the sky. "I ain't dead yet," he thinks. The thought is clear as a bell. He begins to crawl. The first movement is not a crawl, it is a spasm. Glass digs his elbows into the dirt. He drags his dead leg behind him. The pain is blinding. He passes out. He wakes up an hour later. He has moved 3 feet. He looks at the berry bush. It is closer. He eats. He eats the leaves, the twigs, the berries. He needs water. The river is 100 yards away. It takes him 2 days to reach the river. 2 days of dragging himself over rocks, through thorns, through ant hills. He reaches the mud bank. He plunges his face into the water. He drinks until he vomits blood. Then he drinks again. He lies in the mud, letting the cool water soothe his fever. He sees a rattlesnake sunning itself on a rock nearby. In his old life, he would have shot it. Now, he sees dinner. He waits. He is a predator again. A crippled, broken predator, but a predator nonetheless. He finds a heavy rock. He waits for the snake to coil. He smashes the rock down. He skins the snake with a sharp piece of flint he finds on the bank. He eats the meat raw. It tastes like life. He looks at the horizon. Fitzgerald. He starts to crawl again. The disaster is over. The resurrection has begun. September 1823. The Grand River. Hugh Glass has been crawling for a week. He has covered perhaps 10 miles. His body is failing him. The wounds on his back, where the grizzly's claws shredded the muscle down to the ribs, have turned black. The smell is atrocious, the sweet, sickly scent of gangrene. He lies under a cottonwood tree, delirious with fever. He can feel the heat radiating from his own skin. He reaches around to touch his back. His hand comes away, covered in something moving. Maggots, thousands of them. They are writhing in the open wounds. Revulsion washes over him. His first instinct is to scrape them out, to scream, to run into the river and drown the infestation. But then, he stops. He looks closer. The maggots are eating the dead flesh. They are cleaning the wound. Where they have been, the tissue is pink and clean. Where they haven't, it is black and rotting. He realizes the truth. The flies didn't curse him. They saved him. He lies back. He closes his eyes. He lets them work. It is a torture beyond pain. The sensation of thousands of tiny mouths devouring him alive. He focuses on the river. He focuses on the wind. He focuses on Fitzgerald. "Eat," he whispers to the worms. "Eat the rot. Leave the rest for him." Day 12. A storm rolls in from the west. The sky turns a bruised purple. Glass has no shelter. He has no blanket. He has no fire. The rain hits him like ice pellets. The temperature drops 30 degrees in an hour. He drags himself into a hollow log. It is tight, claustrophobic, and smells of wet decay. But it is dry. He shivers violently. The cold is a bigger threat than the bear ever was. Hypothermia sets in. His mind begins to slow down. He starts to hallucinate again. He sees his son, not the real son he left back in Pennsylvania years ago, but the boy Bridger. "I'm sorry, Mr. Glass," the phantom Bridger says. "You left me, boy," Glass whispers to the damp wood. "You left me." He realizes that Bridger didn't leave him out of malice. He left out of fear. But Fitzgerald left him out of greed. The anger warms him. It is a small fire in his gut. He survives the night. The next morning, the sun comes out. He crawls out of the log. He is weaker. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. He finds a patch of wild onions. He digs them up with his fingers, eating the bulbs, dirt and all. He finds a nest of field mice. He crushes them with a rock. He eats them whole, bones and fur. He is becoming something else. He is no longer human. He is a creature of the earth. Day 20. Glass reaches a rise overlooking a wide valley. Below him, a herd of buffalo is grazing. He watches them. He salivates. But he has no gun, no bow. He cannot run. A buffalo is a tank. He is a worm. He sees movement in the grass. Wolves. A pack of 6. Gray timber wolves. They are stalking a calf that has strayed from its mother. Glass watches the hunt. It is brutal and efficient. The wolves separate the calf. They hamstring it. They bring it down. They begin to feast. Glass watches. He realizes he has 2 choices: starve or steal. He waits until the wolves are full, lazy with meat. He starts to crawl down the hill. He doesn't crawl like a wounded man. He crawls like a challenger. He finds a heavy stick. He screams. It is a terrible guttural sound. A roar that sounds like it came from the throat of the bear that killed him. The wolves look up. They see this creature, covered in mud, blood, and rags, dragging itself toward them. They growl. They bristle. But they are confused. Prey runs away. This thing is coming at them. Glass doesn't stop. He hits the ground with his stick. He throws rocks. "Mine!" he screams. "It's mine!" The alpha wolf steps forward. He bares his teeth. Glass stares him in the eye. He doesn't blink. He channels every ounce of his rage into that look. The wolf hesitates. This is not a man. This is a demon. The pack turns and trots away, leaving the carcass. Glass reaches the calf. It is still warm. He tears into the raw meat with his teeth. He drinks the blood pooling in the rib cage. He eats until his stomach hurts. He cuts strips of meat with his sharp rock. He hangs them on the bushes to dry. He has food. He has energy. He looks at his leg. The swelling is going down. He finds a sturdy branch. He fashions a crutch. He stands up. For the first time in 3 weeks, Hugh Glass is vertical. He sways. He nearly falls, but he stands. He looks east, toward the Missouri, toward Fort Kiowa. "I'm coming," he whispers. Day 35. He reaches the Missouri River. It is wide, brown, and fast. Fort Kiowa is on the other side, miles downstream. He cannot swim. His leg won't kick. His back won't bend. He finds a fallen log. He pushes it into the water. He wraps his arms around it. He kicks off from the bank. The current grabs him. It spins him. He holds on for dear life. The water is cold, sucking the heat from his body. He drifts for hours. He passes Arikara villages. He stays low in the water, just his nose and eyes above the surface like an alligator. He sees smoke from the lodges. He hears the drums. He remembers the sandbar, the screams, the blood. He kicks harder. He washes ashore on a sandbank 5 miles below the fort. He drags himself onto the dry land. He sees the walls of Fort Kiowa in the distance. A wooden stockade flying the French flag. It was a trading post, often changing hands. He starts to hobble. Every step is agony. His leg is knitting, but badly. It is crooked. He doesn't care. He reaches the gate at sunset. The guard looks down from the wall. Who goes there? Glass looks up. He is a skeleton wrapped in rotting buckskins. His hair is matted with blood and dirt. His face is a mask of scars. "I am Hugh Glass," he croaks. The guard laughs. "Hugh Glass is dead. The Rees killed him weeks ago." Glass leans on his crutch. "I ain't dead," he says. "Open the gate." October 1823, Fort Kiowa. The gates open. Glass limps into the courtyard. Men stop what they are doing. Traders, trappers, Indians. They stare. They know the story. Everyone knows the story. Hugh Glass was mauled by a bear and buried by Fitzgerald and Bridger. "It's a ghost," a man whispers. Glass ignores them. He walks to the water trough. He drinks. Then he turns to the factor, the man in charge. "Where is he?" Glass asks. "Who?" "Fitzgerald." The factor looks at the ledger. "Fitzgerald? He joined a boat going upriver to the Yellowstone. With Major Henry," Glass nods. "And the boy? Bridger?" "He's with them." Glass touches the knife at the factor's belt. "I need a rifle," Glass says, "and a horse, and my kit." "You need a doctor, Glass," the factor says. "Look at you. You're half dead." Glass smiles. It is a grim, terrifying expression that cracks the scabs on his face. "I'm done dying," Glass says. "Now I'm hunting." October 1823, Fort Kiowa. Glass does not rest. The French traders at the fort look at him with a mixture of awe and horror. His back is a map of scars. His leg has healed crooked, giving him a permanent hitching limp. His throat whistles when he breathes hard, but he is alive. He trades his story for gear. The factor gives him a rifle, not his beloved Pennsylvania long rifle that Fitzgerald stole, but a heavy, functional trade musket. He gets a knife, a blanket, and a horse. He joins a group of French voyageurs heading upriver to the Mandan villages. "Why go back?" a voyageur asks him one night by the fire. "The river tried to kill you twice. The bear tried once. Go home, Glass." Glass runs a whetstone along the blade of his new knife. Scritch, scritch. "I left something behind," Glass says. "What?" "My word," Glass replies. and a boy. He isn't just hunting Fitzgerald. He is hunting the part of himself that trusted them. November 1823. Near the Mandan villages. The journey north is cursed. The French boat is ambushed by the Arikara, the same tribe that massacred Ashley's men months ago. Glass is on the shore when it happens. He sees the warriors swarm the boat. He sees the Frenchmen die. He is alone again. He hides in the rocks. He watches the Arikara celebrate. He realizes that Fitzgerald and Bridger must have passed this way weeks ago. If they survived the Arikara, they are at Fort Henry on the Yellowstone. He walks. It is winter now. The wind cuts through his blanket. The snow is knee-deep. He eats frozen buffalo meat he scavenges from wolf kills. He sleeps in snowdrifts. He is fueled by a singular burning purpose. He reaches the mouth of the Yellowstone River in December. There, standing grim and lonely against the gray sky, is Fort Henry. A rough log stockade. Smoke curls from the chimneys. Glass limps toward the gate. He looks like a yeti, covered in furs, ice in his beard, his eyes burning with a feverish light. He hammers on the gate. "Open up!" he roars. His voice is a broken rasp, but it is loud enough. New Year's Eve, 1823. Fort Henry. Inside the fort, the men are celebrating. Major Henry is there. The survivors of the Arikara fight are drinking watered-down whiskey. The door bursts open. A blast of freezing air hits the room. Hugh Glass steps inside. Silence slams into the room like a physical blow. Men drop their cups. Major Henry stands up, his face draining of color. "Glass?" Henry whispers. "My God, we buried you." Glass ignores him. He scans the room. He sees Jim Bridger. The boy is sitting in the corner, cleaning a rifle. He looks up. His eyes go wide. He starts to shake. Glass walks toward him. The heavy thud of his boots on the floorboards is the only sound. Bridger stands up. He backs away until he hits the wall. "Mr. Glass," Bridger stammers. "Mr. Glass, Glass stops 2 feet from him. He towers over the boy. He reaches out. Bridger flinches, expecting a knife in the gut. Glass grabs the rifle from Bridger's hands. He checks the stock. It isn't his rifle. "Where is he?" Glass growls. He left," Bridger sobs. "Fitzgerald. He went downriver, to Fort Atkinson. He joined the army." Glass looks at the boy. He sees the terror. He sees the guilt. Bridger falls to his knees. "I'm sorry. He made me leave. He took your rifle. I wanted to stay, I swear." Glass raises the musket butt. The room holds its breath. This is frontier justice. An eye for an eye. Glass looks down at the boy who abandoned him to the wolves. He remembers the water Bridger brought him. He remembers the boy cleaning the maggots. He realizes that Bridger didn't kill him. Fear killed him, and fear is a disease Glass knows well. He lowers the rifle. "Get up," Glass says softly. Bridger looks up, confused. "You're just a boy," Glass says. "I ain't killing a boy for being scared." He turns to Major Henry. "But Fitzgerald ain't a boy," Glass says. "He's a man, and he has my rifle." The next morning, Glass prepares to leave. Major Henry tries to stop him. "Fort Atkinson is 1,000 miles away, Glass. In the dead of winter, you'll die." "I already died, Major," Glass says, tightening his saddle girth. "Didn't take." Bridger comes to him at the gate. He holds out Glass's old possibles bag, the one Fitzgerald left behind, or perhaps Bridger stole back. "I kept this," Bridger says, tears freezing on his cheeks. "I thought maybe you'd need it in the next life." Glass takes the bag. He looks at the boy. "You keep your powder dry, Jim," Glass says. "And don't ever trust a man who counts his money while he's burying his friends." Glass rides out. He has forgiven the boy. But forgiveness has a limit. Fitzgerald is at Fort Atkinson. He is safe. He is paid. He thinks he got away with murder. Glass rides south. The wind is at his back. The rescue is over. The revenge is now a hunt for a specific animal. January to April, 1824. The journey to Fort Atkinson, present-day Nebraska, is an epic in itself. Glass travels down the frozen Missouri. He survives blizzards that bury his horse. He survives starvation. He meets friendly Sioux who feed him. They look at his scars and call him Wanagi, the ghost. He reaches the Platte River in the spring. The ice is breaking up. The world is waking up. Glass feels himself changing. The rage that fueled him out of the grave is cooling. It is hardening into something else. Resolve. He isn't angry anymore. He is just unfinished. He reaches Fort Atkinson in June. It is a massive military installation. Soldiers in blue uniforms, cannons, civilization. Glass rides up to the gate. He looks like a relic from another age. "I'm looking for a soldier," Glass tells the sentry. "Name of Fitzgerald." The sentry checks the roster. "Private Fitzgerald?" "Yeah, he's here. Just signed up." Glass smiles. It is a terrifying expression. "Tell him an old friend is here to return his rifle," Glass says. June 1824. Fort Atkinson, present-day Nebraska. Hugh Glass rides through the main gate. He is a spectacle. His buckskins are worn thin, stained with grease and blood. His beard is gray and matted. He limps heavily, favoring the leg the bear broke. But his eyes are clear. He dismounts. He ties his horse to the hitching rail. He walks toward the commanding officer's quarters. Soldiers stop drilling to watch him pass. They whisper, "That's him. That's the one the bear ate." Glass ignores them. He finds Major O'Fallon, the post commander. "I'm here for a thief," Glass says simply. "Name of John Fitzgerald. He enlisted in your army." O'Fallon looks at the roster. "Private Fitzgerald? Yes, he's here. But he's a soldier of the United States Army now, Mr. Glass. He is under military law. You can't just shoot him." Glass leans on his crutch. He touches the scars on his throat. "He stole my rifle," Glass says. "He stole my knife. He stole my life. I want them back." O'Fallon sighs. He knows frontier justice, but he also knows the Articles of War. "I'll summon him," O'Fallon says, "but if you touch him, I'll hang you." The confrontation happens in the parade ground. Fitzgerald is summoned. He walks out of the barracks, adjusting his uniform. He looks clean, fed, and arrogant. He sees Glass. For a moment, Fitzgerald stops. His face goes pale. He looks like he's seen a dead man walking, because he has. "Glass," Fitzgerald whispers. Glass doesn't shout. He doesn't run. He just stands there, leaning on his crutch. "Hello, John," Glass says. Fitzgerald recovers quickly. He is a survivor too, in his own way. "I thought you were dead," Fitzgerald says. "Honest to God, Hugh, you look dead." "I wasn't," Glass says. "We waited 5 days," Fitzgerald shouts, looking at the gathering crowd of soldiers. 5 days with the Rees breathing down our necks. I did what I had to do." "You took my rifle," Glass says. "You took my kit. You left me without a spark." Fitzgerald looks at the ground. He knows he can't defend the theft. Leaving a man is one thing. Robbing him is another. "I needed the money," Fitzgerald mutters. "The army pays better." Glass steps forward. He reaches out his hand. Fitzgerald flinches. "Give it to me," Glass says. Fitzgerald goes back into the barracks. He comes out with the Pennsylvania long rifle. It is beautiful. Maple stock. Octagonal barrel. Glass takes it. He checks the action. It is smooth. He looks at Fitzgerald. He raises the rifle. The soldiers tense up. Major O'Fallon puts a hand on his pistol. Glass aims at Fitzgerald's chest. Fitzgerald closes his eyes. He waits for the thunder. Glass lowers the rifle. "Keep your life, John," Glass says. "It ain't worth the powder." He turns and walks away. He has his rifle. He has his dignity. He has the satisfaction of seeing the fear in Fitzgerald's eyes. Killing him would just be murder. Letting him live with the shame is justice. 1824 to 1833. Glass doesn't go back to Pennsylvania. He doesn't write a book. He doesn't settle down. He goes back to the river. He signs up with another trapping expedition. He goes back up the Missouri, past the Arikara villages, past the place where the bear mauled him. He is now a legend. Young trappers seek him out. "Tell us about the crawl, Hugh," they say. Glass just grunts and checks his traps. He is invincible in their eyes. He is the man who cannot be killed. But the frontier is relentless. In the winter of 1833, 10 years after the mauling, Glass is trapping on the Yellowstone River. He is with two other men. They are crossing the ice. The Arikara are watching. They have not forgotten the man who slipped through their fingers twice. They ambush the party on the ice. This time, there is no miracle. There is no crawl. Glass fights. He kills two warriors before he falls. They scalp him. They take his rifle, the same rifle he walked 1,000 miles to retrieve. They leave his body on the ice. The river claims him at last. Months later, a group of trappers visits the Arikara to trade. They see a warrior carrying a distinctive rifle, a Pennsylvania long rifle with a maple stock. They recognize it. "Where did you get that?" they ask. "From the ghost," the warrior says. "The old one who walks like a bear." The trappers trade for the rifle. They bring it back to St. Louis. It is returned to the company. It hangs on a wall for a while. Then it disappears into history. But the story remains. They say Hugh Glass died on the ice in 33. But the truth is, Hugh Glass died in that hollow in 23. The man who crawled out was something else. He was a testament to the one thing that separates us from the animals: spite. The bear broke his body. The river froze his blood. His friends stole his hope. But he kept crawling. Not for glory, not for money, but because he refused to let the bastards win. We look at the map of the West today, the highways, the towns, the dams, but underneath the concrete, the land is still wild. And if you listen to the wind on the Grand River, you can still hear it. The sound of a man dragging himself through the dirt, 1 inch at a time, reminding us that as long as you have breath, you have a fight. Keep crawling. The fort is just over the next rise.